Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna install a concealed basin tap just there. It will be the same principle with the shower thermostatic valve that we installed, a mixer that we installed in the wall. You probably saw that in my last video. If not, you can check that. So when you install a tap or a shower mixer inside the wall, so a concealed tap, the principles are the same. You just have to follow the instruction and see what depth you need to set this tap or shower in. Obviously test for the water, make sure there's no leaks, because then if you close the wall and you haven't tested properly, you might have a leak, and then you have to open up again. And so let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what we need to do and how we're going to achieve that. Okay, so this will be the location. So from that corner and that sign we have 150. So this is where I will have my vanity, and that vanity will be custom made by me, or at least this is what I'm hoping. We need to find out obviously the height of the basin. In our case we have a basin that will sit on top of the worktop, probably marble, but that hasn't been decided. So but we have the basin, we have the tap. So I draw a line which is 90 centimeters from the floor, because our floor will go up about 4.5 centimeters in finished floor. So that's going to leave us about 85 centimeters from the floor to the top of the basin. So the basin is aligned with that line which is on the 90. Pretty much is centralized pretty much. Not sure the final obviously the final position. It might be coming slightly out, but that's something that we're gonna see when we do the vanity and when we're gonna install the tap. So there's the tap. It will be installed inside the wall. There's the plate. There's obviously instructions, and this will be the tap. So this will have to go in the wall, and I will centralize it so it's central with the basin, even if it's it's not gonna be running in the actually waste, it's just a bit over. I prefer it to have the tap centralized with the basin instead of having the head centralize it with the waste. So I will do it like this. Now I have few marks on the wall. That's 20 centimeters from the top of the basin. So I have 20 centimeters, 25 and 30 centimeters, because I wanted to see how it looks in terms of height. So I think I'll probably go just under 20. I feel like is a better, but that's something obviously if you check online you will have few dimensions. You will have anywhere from 15 centimeters to 30 centimeters. So I think you just have to just put it in the position and see what's best for you. So I will go under 20 centimeters. Now all we have to do is to mark what we need to cut. In our case we're gonna have to go down to the floor, because we have the pipes down. We have to put the pipes up and we have to also run the waste. So I'll mark what I need to open and I will go down to the floor. Remove that piece of plasterboard. We have a barrier, vapor barrier there. We're gonna carefully cut that and put it aside. We do our plumbing, then we put the barrier back. We're gonna tape it where we cut it. Then we'll put the plasterboard or the drywall back on. Then we're gonna have a 10 mil weddy board on top of this wall, and obviously then we're gonna be tiling. So that's something that we need to take into consideration when we set the depth for the top. Okay, so we have the first two holes drilled. You can see there's a stud hole there. So there's 32 millimeter holes. We have a pipe that is 15 millimeter, so this needs to run. We have the pipes obviously in the ceiling, they're already in the ceiling, so we need to bring them up. But I will use a 22 millimeter over this 16, so we have more protection for the holes. Then I'll see if I can still cover them with insulation, and then this way they will be centralized on the hole. The holes are obviously 32 mil, so they're quite wide, but just in case I want to make sure that the pipe is not going to be very close to that metal. So I will use 150 millimeter pipe just for more protection. Okay, so we have it here. You can see it's running through. We're gonna put a bit of tape there just to hold it. I don't think it moves, but just to hold it. And it's pretty much in the middle, and then we're just gonna run some bigger insulation on top, and that's it. Okay, so you can see up here as well, we're gonna put this bigger insulation, put it down, and then this way the pipe will be centralized, and then we should not have any problems in the future. Okay, so now we prepare the tap for the hot and cold supply. As you can see, I have used ceiling cord, and the reason for that is that the manufacturer is showing in the instruction that you will have a hole in the wall, so this plate will cover. So I guess doing that, you're gonna have access to the nuts, access to the screws. So in case you want to, I don't know, replace the tap, or if maybe something is leaking, to have access to the parts. Now, so the reason that I haven't using thread seal is because that is very difficult to undo. One that is dry, sometimes you have to hit it with a torch, so obviously we don't want to do that here, so I just use ceiling cord. Now we need to set obviously the depth inside the wall. That's going to be a bit tricky because we don't have that much adjustment as we have with the shower, which is 15 millimeters. Yeah, and here it's pretty much, you have to be spot on. This plate goes something like this, obviously goes in there, and it goes there in the back of that. Now you have a bit of adjustment here, and in here you have this arm I'll show you with two rubber O-rings inside. This is the maximum, so it's back to the maximum. Now you could probably move this slightly a little bit, but it won't be more than a couple of millimeters, so you need to be quite accurate with the installing in the wall. So what I will do, I will leave it on maximum as it is now. I will put this plate here, and I will measure and see my distance. Then I know my wall will have a 10 millimeter weddy board, and will have tiles and adhesive. So 10 millimeter weddy board, and then we'll probably allow 12 millimeters for the tile and the adhesive. We want to go to the minimum, and because I don't want to be I don't want to have the tap sticking too much and then disconnect, and need to obviously break in and push it forward. So I rather have the top sitting a bit in, because as I said, we have a bit of adjustment here, not a lot, but we have. But on the other hand, we have access to the screws, so we could always undo the screws and put a 2 millimeter shim or a 3 millimeter packer behind the top. So pipes are obviously plastic, so they're flexy, so that's not gonna bother us. So I'm gonna go to the minimum. If we'll need adjustment, we obviously take the screws off, put something behind, and push it forward. So this is what we're gonna do. Now I need to put the plate, measure up and see by how much this needs to be sitting in the wall, and then I'll cut that insulation there, I'll put some timber there, and I'll secure this to the timber. Okay, so our tap it's ready to be tested. All we have to do is obviously test and make sure that there's no any water leaking anywhere. So after that, we just have to close the wall, put the barrier back, tape it, do the weddy board, and do the tiling. So when the tiling will be done, we just have to put this plate, I mean, take the head off, because it's only screwed with 2 screws there, 2 grub screws underneath, so that's obviously going to have to be removed before we doing the tiling. Then when we finished with the tiling, grouting, we obviously put the plate on, put the head back on, and that's it, our top it's done. So very important, you need to follow instruction, make sure that it is installed at the right depth, and also more important is make sure that your tap doesn't leak. You know, you don't want to close the wall and tile before you actually check for leaks. Don't assume that if you didn't have a leak, you know, on the last job or the previous job, you might not have a leak now. So it's always better to check and make sure that there's nothing leaking and everything is nice and tight. So check for leaks, and then, you know, you're ready to go. So pretty much that will be with the concealed wall tap installation. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.